This is a throwback of the time I spent in Malacca. The link to this full throwback video is placed at the end of this episode. I visited Malacca 2 August ago. That's with a group of friends. I remember coming to Malacca during weekend. That is the time the Jonker market was operating at full force. Having said, it was only just for about 3 hours that we stay in Malacca Old Town. We shopped, we ate, we had tons of fun back then. That outing was a short one and more like a hit and go thingy back then. I really miss those moments that we had together. At the end of the trip, I regretted only staying 3 hours at the Jonker's market. I believe I did not do much justice on Malacca Old Town. And I told myself that I need to be back in Malacca again. The time is now to fulfill my side of the promise.
Much later.
And a quick wash up. So now I'm on my way out to explore this place. There's a lot of hotels over here. And during weekdays, I'm staying from Monday to Thursday. Because of the night market is not open, so the room rates can be very low. The Jonker Street is the Chinatown area in the Malacca city in the state of Malacca, Malaysia. And what is so famous about Jonker Street worldwide is the night market situated on this street. Wow. It is the congregation of all the activities happening in Malacca Old Town. However, just a word of caution. It is only at weekend, which runs from Friday to Sunday, that the night market truly comes alive. The streets are close to traffic and around 400 Jonker Street Night Market stores open up selling traditional handicraft and local cuisine. In this trip, however, I purposely avoid the crowded weekend night market and choose the much quieter midweek instead, where there is no night market at all. You will not find the weekend markets operating during weekday. Having said, no trip to this marvelous Malaysian UNESCO town is complete without a visit to the weekend Jonker's night market, held along the length of Jonker Street every Friday, Saturday and Sunday. If you are a first-time visitor to Malacca, I would suggest that you come on a weekday to get the full experience of a Southeast Asia night market scene. The length of the night market is probably around 400 meters or so from one end to the other end. There are numerous side lanes that fan out from the main streets. In this trip for me, I like walking the Jonker Street on a weekday. I have this leisure feeling and felt relaxed and at total control of how I walked. It actually felt nicer for me rather than having people coming behind me or walking next to me. Well, it's just my personal preference. Do not miss the brightly lit opera stage. This stage, which is located at the beginning of Jonker Night Market, might be a restored concrete structure, but I so like the lights. There are also old Chinese clan houses and other old houses I can sight while walking along the street. Oh, don't miss the colorful temples here. There are also new establishments that move into Jonker Street. Do not miss out the beautiful murals on the walls of the houses. Given that the night market is not open on the weekday, I am a little bit surprised chancing on the Jonker food street. I checked with my hostel manager subsequently. She told me that given that it is during Chinese New Year, the food street is there. It's just a seasonal thing, so don't bank too much on it. Your best bet for night market is still during weekend, if you want the full version of the night market, that is. Anyway, I am still very happy seeing the washed down version of the food street. The crowd here is more manageable and there is enough activities and color on the street that cheers me up. The busiest time of the year to visit Jonker Street Night Market is usually around Chinese New Year, that is in February usually. This is when all the Chinese New Year decoration is up, decorating the entire street. At the other end of Jonker Street, I find the beautiful dragon light decoration. The dragon decoration spews water at regular intervals. Wow, look at the dragon spewing water. Water signified wealth in Chinese custom. Oh, sorry. Thank you. So no one will complain being getting wet. Limestone. At this end of Jonker Street, you can also find tens and up to hundreds of brightly lit trishaw. There are lots of cartoon characters on the trishaw itself. Sometimes the trishaw also has speakers playing loud music to attract attention. A trishaw ride will typically take you around the main tourist site of Malacca in about 30 minutes, and the driver will provide some form of commentary. It is a bit of a tourist activity. Just agree on the routes and price before starting off your ride. To find this trishaw, they are easy to find near the Dutch Square or the entrance to the Jonker Walk. This is the landmark of Malacca. I am now walking towards the Red Square. This is normally the entrance to the old town. The Red Square or the Dutch Square houses a few museums nearby, and an old church up in the hills and surrounding the hills. The Portuguese built this wall, and this is the Dutch layer. So as you can see, there's a lot of big players that used to come over here in ancient times. And surrounding the hills, you can also sight some remains of the old city wall. So this is the ancient city wall, now already preserved. And there are cannons on top of the old city wall of the river. I'm not really a big fan of the old city wall. I'm more interested in the Malacca River found on the foot of the hill. The river is so beautiful light up at night. If one of your activity is to take a cruise along Malacca River, then I would suggest to take the river cruise at night. The river cruise is a 45 minutes round trip and covers 9 kilometers. The cruise is best done at night for the reason that in the evening the weather is much cooler, and that during nighttime when the lights along the river are turned on, it is really magical. It seems to have a hawker center right at the end of the bank, so let's quickly go there. So I would say the best time to enjoy Malacca River Cruise is during sunset till it gets dark around 6:15 to 7 p.m. The river cruise originate here. In that way, you get the chance to see the beauty of the riverside both on the daylight and nighttime with just one ride. Oh, look at the queue, man. Single ticket costs 30 ringgit, and you can get it online to avoid queuing up at the entrance. Tonight, the queue length seems okay, but I have seen on blogs that the queue can be very long at certain times of the day. Arguably, the most captivating structure along the Malacca River is the Malacca Maritime Museum that takes the form of a galleon ship. The food court seems a little bit depressing. Let's go and have a look still. So there's a ship here. It is a replica of a Portuguese ship called Flora de la Mar, which was said to be carrying plundered items from the city when it sank off the coast of Malacca. The museum is 34 meters high, about 5 stories, 36 meters long, and 8 meters wide. I think a turning tower. It is home to several exhibits, documents, and artifacts from the city golden era. Okay, that is one end of Malacca, the old Malacca. You don't have the money to go into the junk boat, so this is what you can do. Just take picture from outside. Further down the big ship museum, there is a small food court serving the river cruise passenger. Oh, there is a nice performance showcasing coconut tossing. So after cutting the fruit or after playing with the fruit, it can be used over here. In order not to feel bad watching the entire show and walk away with nothing on hand, I buy an obligatory coconut from the seller. 多少钱啊？
这个5块。
啊？5块啊？好的，10块啊。Okay. So this is the coconut that I bought, but got to eat over here. Yeah, it looks so unglam. That's the coconut. It's harder than I thought. So there's water in there, and that's the coconut flesh. As I'm traveling with my friends the last time, so we didn't get to visit some parts of the river. So now I'm trying to visit this. I continue walking along the Malacca River. Once the sun goes down, I walk along the river to enjoy seeing different buildings lit up by colorful lights which reflects across the water. A great advantage of taking a walk at night is to avoid the hot midday sun. I find it quite romantic to walk with the loved one, but I'm all alone. Oh well. I can watch the river cruise cruising by, doing the stupid tourist thing of waving at the passenger on the boat. You can only do that when you are a tourist in a foreign land. I like the lights up along the river. Yes, it might be a very man-made one and very touristy, but I still like it a lot. To be frank, it is this lighting along the river that I saw on my last trip that prompted me to make this return trip. Back then, I did not have the chance to walk along the river. Now, with me controlling 100% of my own itinerary, walking on the riverbank at night is my top thing to do in this trip. There are many restaurants parked along the riverside. Walking along the Malacca River reminds me of walking along Singapore River at Clarke Quay or strolling along Otaru River in Hokkaido. It gives me the same set of feeling. I feel so relaxed, so calm. That is probably what holiday is all about. Even though I'm traveling alone, I never felt lonely.